Hello there once again. Welcome back to Blackpool for this, the second semi-final in the World 8-Ball Pool Championships for the year 2000, coming to you from the Hilton Hotel on the seafront here in Blackpool. Just to confirm then the state of play at the moment, one semi-final completed. That was a sensational match. Quinton Hann, the defending champion, going down 10-7 to Jason Twist. And this second semi-final, Chris Melling will take on Carl Morris, the former world champion. I'm delighted to say that Quinton Hann has joined me here in the studio. Quinton, thanks very much indeed. It's obviously a blow to go out of this tournament when you did, but I appreciate you coming along here. Have you recovered yet?
I have, yeah. Very disappointed. I thought I had a good chance of winning. I was favourite, but you can't win every match, I guess.
Was it nerves or maybe just not to be your day?
There's a combination of a lot of things, but my cue broke 6 days ago, and I've been using a rack cue, 8-pound cue, and I think that had a lot of psychological effect. A few of the pressure shots I had, I realised I threw the match away, made a lot of mistakes.
Well, we're glad to see you're still smiling, and we do thank you for joining us. Let's talk about this particular game. It's Chris Melling, of course, against Carl Morris, two very talented young players. Let's have a look, first of all, at the profile, shall we, of Chris Melling, because he is widely tipped by many people to make it through to the final. How do you assess him? He's 21 and unseeded, but as we can see, a very talented young guy.
Yeah, I think he's a confident player, and he's in form throughout the tournament. He's been playing really well, and Carl Morris has struggled a little bit.
Yeah.
So he's definitely favourite, I think.
Yes, and if we look at the player profile for Carl Morris, we'll see confirmation there. Slightly older at 23. He's seeded too, and of course a former winner of this tournament just 2 years ago. But everyone's saying Carl Morris not doing himself justice, really. He can play better, and his form is not the best. So maybe this is a good opportunity for Chris.
Well, yeah, it's hard to pick a winner, but Carl's got a lot of experience. He won the tournament a few years ago. He's got to the semi last year, and he's struggled the whole tournament. He's played quite bad, actually.
Yeah.
But he's in the semi-finals, so his experience will probably help.
What sort of match do you think we're in for? Is it going to go down to the wire? Is it going to be a nail-biter or what?
I think Chris Melling will win.
Well, we'll find out.
10-6.
Okay, thanks for that prediction. Right now, I think we can hear from Chris. He's with Johnny.
Well, it is a big night for the young man with me at the moment, but I think he's ready for it. He was unseeded perhaps, but he's already beaten the likes of Darren Appleton and two-time world champion Rob McKenna. Chris, this is a big night, but the whole of Keighley's here to support you, so that's a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got a great following all the way from Yorkshire. Hopefully they'll help me to get on my way to win my match. I've had a couple of tough matches, but you don't get any easier now.
Now, everybody's been talking about you this week, and I suppose for many reasons. I remember when you won the World Juniors here. This is what it's all about. I mean, you've practiced, you've played hard, you've gone through the ranks, and now you're here, and this is what it's all about.
Yeah, I'm surprised to get here myself. Like I said, I've had some tough rounds. A few people probably didn't expect me to get here, but I'm here and I'll do my best to get a bit further.
Looking forward to it?
Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, I think he's psyched up. As I said, the whole of Keighley have come down to watch him and support him. Got a young man on his way through to the semi-final up against Carl Morris, and he's looking good for it. Back to you, David.
Right, I think the talking is just about over. Let's now cross down to Alan Hughes, and he'll introduce the players.
Thank you, David. And now we welcome the players in our second semi-final. And first, the former world junior champion having a terrific tournament, and his talented opponent, a great ambassador and a former world champion himself. Ladies and gentlemen, will you welcome together Chris Melling and Carl Morris.
So a terrific atmosphere here at Blackpool for this second semi-final between 21-year-old Chris Melling and the former world champion Carl Morris from Sheerness in Kent. A commentary on this one comes from Mikey Alexandru, Tony Holgate, and once again, Jim White.
First frame, Carl Morris to break.
Thanks, David. And yes, this is a very interesting prospect here. You've got experience, even though he's only 23 years of age. He's been to the final stages here a number of times. Former winner, Carl Morris, a mainstay on the English international side as well, and 21-year-old Chris Melling. And he really has been the man in form. He's taken out the likes, as was mentioned, of two-time champion Rob McKenna, Darren Appleton, and Lee. Well, sorry, he actually took out a very good player, Terry Hunt, in the stages just before here as well. And Terry, the beaten finalist last year.
Yellow ball spotted.
And right off the break, yellow down to leave an open table for Carl Morris. and the breaks could prove decisive here in this, our second semifinal. One question has already been answered, Tony Holgate and Mikey, and we know who one of the finalists is, Jason Twist. Now, in a very short span of time here, we're going to know who's going to be opposing Jason in that final.
That's right, Jim. Very good control break from Carl Morris there. But this, I think, is going to be a tight match. Like you say, Carl Morris has got the experience. Yes, he has been a world champion. He showed us an awesome potting display in his quarter-final. And he's really took the tournament by storm.
Well, he hammered Terry Hunt in the quarterfinals, 9-2. And that was a little bit unexpected. That's just, again, a testament to how well Chris Melling is playing. And he really does go for his shots. That's his trademark. And Mikey, you certainly must have been impressed by what you've seen here right throughout this event.
Well, Chris has definitely been the player that I've picked to get to the final. Carl Morris struggling a little bit, but I think if Chris gets off to a good start, Chris will definitely get there. I don't know what he's like under pressure. He's never really been under pressure in any of his games yet. But sure, raw talent out there.
Well, he actually took out Darren Appleton, who is one of the better players on the UK Tour, always one of the favorites, 8-3. And two-time champion McKenna, 8-5. And as mentioned, he took out Terry Hunt, 9-2. So he really hasn't been under pressure where it's been down to a missed ball able to cost him a frame.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Jim, but you just say those three names. Darren Appleton, Terry Hunt, Rob McKenna. We're talking world-class players. We're the International Masters. I played Darren Appleton in the quarterfinals of that, and he was in awesome form. Then you've got Terry Hunt. He was the beaten finalist last year, and Rob McKenna, who's a two-time world champion.
By contrast, Carl Morris, the man at the table, easily disposing of Neil Blake, but it has to be said, it was not in convincing fashion. There were a number of mistakes in that match. Wasn't of the highest standard. I think Carl didn't really care too much about that. He's just happy to be here in the semifinal and looking to put his best foot forward here. And what about that shot? Off the yellow. He's just forged an opening here now and should well take this opening frame. Great pot that from Carl Morris.
Yeah, he's very good at those shots, Carl. You see him play a lot of cannons all through his matches, and it's like a speciality of his. Give himself a great chance now to take the opening frame. Not sure if he's the wrong side of the red. He looks a little bit concerned. Yeah, there you can see the cue ball's going away from the black ball. As you see him pot his second to last red. He's just having a look to see how far the yellow is away from the red ball. He's thinking of maybe playing a screw shot into the middle bag, but using the yellow ball as like a buffer to bring the cue ball back towards the black. And that's exactly what he tried to do in his run out. He just didn't contact the yellow thick enough there, Jim.
Well, another look at it. And Mikey, you know at this level, as do we, you can't get away with mistakes like that.
The way Chris has been playing, I think it's all over. Getting back to Rob McKenna, I saw Chris put Rob McKenna under tremendous pressure and just went away with it. When this boy gets going, he definitely looks the most passionate player out of all the players this year.
Yeah, you're right there, Mike. He's looking hungry. And sometimes these matches boil down to who wants it the most.
Oh, yes. He's going through his steps.
You can see he wastes little time out there as well. Obviously, the meter's running.
The players have been speaking around. He's made 5 maximum breaks in snooker, so that'll help him along. And there we go. Hasn't even used the second shot.
The one mistake from Carl Morris proved to be Chris Melling deposits his first frame into the count, leading in this race to 10, 1-0. And just a lax effort really on position. Right here, trying to draw off that yellow, just overhitting it. Certainly didn't deserve the in-off, but it proved his undoing in the end.
Second frame, Chris Melling to break, leading 1 frame to 0.
Frame number 2, Chris Melling with a quick look just to make sure that everything's touching, and he has in fact spotted that the top few balls aren't frozen, and it's so important to get that rack tight. He wants a total displacement of those balls.
Yeah, it's exactly right, Jim. You see, if you leave gaps in amongst the balls, when you go to hammer the break, you'll find a bunch right in the middle of the pack will stick together, and you just don't get a good split. And being as the break is such an important shot in the world pool, it's only right they should check it now and again. And he's still not happy. As you can see, the little bunch stayed in the middle. It didn't move.
Yellow ball spotted.
Well, he got one off the break, Tony, and that affords him to stay at the table and choose his desired suit of color.
Red ball's nominated.
Always an advantage.
Red ball's in play.
Well, you won't see Chris play much safety in this match. He does like to attack.
What almost looks like one of the more difficult reds, the one he's just looking at there, passes into the center pocket. He's not looking at it anymore. Well, we've seen him pot so many similar sort of shots to that, but he does have control. I think he'd rather not take that yellow off the side cushion.
No, that's the thing with Chris. He doesn't think about any safety at all. Like I say, he'll go for the pot full-blooded and not really worry about the consequences.
Now, I'm wondering if those 2 yellows below the black don't offer a plant in the bottom left-hand corner. Carl's had a look at it. If not, he can develop them right here.
Well, Carl Morris, he tried to cover the bottom left-hand corner and he's completely missed where he's going. And he's just put the yellow safe again.
Well, basically a wasted turn there from Morris.
Chris Melling there covering the pocket. Carl knows he's in the spot of bother now in this frame.
His dad, Jim, does as well, and his mother, 2 of Carl Morris's biggest fans. They follow him all around the circuit. Jim, in fact, is the manager of the English team. Very astute pool man in his own right. He does know the game. I'm sure he helps Carl out an awful lot off the table.
And Chris has got an opportunity now to have a go at the bottom red and split the pack.
Well, he had a go at splitting the pack, like you said, Mikey. Missed the pot. Some people might think he's been fortunate here, as you see the keyboard cannon at the balls and then knock the red in over the pocket. But I can tell you he has not been fortunate at all. Because just look where he's landed.
And he really didn't develop the reds. You have to admire his courage, but that might have been a little bit of youthful exuberance.
30 seconds.
And that one yellow in the center of the table, just between those three reds, still a problem for Carl Morris. And he'll want to get after that. If he does entertain thoughts here of trying to get out, he'll want to try and open that up as soon as possible.
The waistcoat that Carl Morris is wearing seems to be very lucky to him. Apparently he's never taken it off in a tournament. Let's just cover the pocket.
Darren Appleton, one of the victims that fell by the wayside to Chris Melling, and Keith Brewer just to his right. Former UK #1 Brewer. And there, the most interested spectator of them all, waiting in the wings, the finalist, Jason Twist. That was almost a dream shot for Chris Melling. Just watch this red going around the angles. It just about cleared these three. What a result that would have been.
Well, he didn't want to kiss on the yellow there, as you can see, because the bottom red out of the two that are stuck together did pass into the bottom right-hand corner. Now the yellow's come down and blocked it. Trying to play the red off the red into the corner. Great shot. I think the yellow's come back and blocked him again in the centre.
Superb execution there from Chris Melling. Trying to retrieve the position, but again, he's going to have to pull another rabbit out here, Tony. Can always use that little bit of running. Keeps your confidence level high. Always affords you the opportunity that you feel like you can take the risk and things are going to work out.
Yeah, that's right, Jim.
Yeah, it's a big shot.
Would you believe he's overcut it?
Good effort this again, but it's not going to avail him. Doesn't enhance his position at all. And there's Carl Morris's girlfriend.
30 seconds.
Great to have support. She's behind him 100%. The eventual winner of this, the 2000 Embassy World Pool Championships, will take home £10,000.
I'll tell you what, Chris is going for this. He's going to try and... Well, he's played the double. Bring the cue ball back towards the red.
Didn't really strike that with a lot of conviction, though, did he, Tony?
Well, there's a cheeky effort there from Chris. Went for the cross double, length of the table. And you see it once again. Just catches the jaws. But he's had second prize there because he's managed to cover Carl's yellow at the top of the table. So Carl's got no easy finish here. He'll be looking for a safety. Trying to extract the 2 visits from Chris Melling. So he's going to run off thin off this yellow, cue ball into the bottom cushion, and back up behind it again. And he played that a little soft. Still, it's a total snooker. I wonder if you'll see Chris now try and come off the 2 rails and up behind the red. You see the line of the ball wants to go off this cushion and then off the other cushion and just there behind the red ball. So as you know in a total snooker, when the referee's called it, you don't have to hit a cushion after contact. Be a great shot should he get it, but to judge the pace, very, very difficult.
Looks like he's opted for a
Foul.
security shot.
Well, I'm a little surprised, Mikey, that he's played that. True that it's a good shot, yeah, but I just fancy him to be able to get the snooker.
Cushions have been seeming to kick a little wide, so maybe that's what made it a little bit more difficult for him. From the angle that he was at. Still interesting situation now.
30 seconds.
Tactical side of pool now. It's not all about putting.
Second visit.
You don't think that's still to his disadvantage? By not tapping the table?
30 seconds. Yes, the referee normally taps the table for Carl Morris. That's how they tell him about the 30-second warning, but they have installed a clock on the arena. And as we may have told you in past productions here, Carl Morris is deaf. And every time the player comes to the table, there's the clock they have installed now. So the onus not anymore on the referees. It's on the players. They have to look up there and have a look at that clock.
Foul. 2 visits.
Well, this is turning into a real cat and mouse affair here. Still remains to be seen what role Chris Melling's going to play in that. But I have to feel that if Carl Morris can turn this into somewhat of a chess game, it would be in his best interest with his experience. And he's a very good tactical player, is Carl Morris.
Second visit.
And obviously the way that Chris Melling approaches things, very aggressive by nature and attacking, and at only 21 years of age, inexperienced, you've got to feel that that style of play would favor Carl Morris.
Chris might have an opportunity to loosen his one red there at the top. If he does that, Chris thinking about it.
Well, the problem is the double kiss, Mikey, I think, and certainly he's got to be wary of the in-off into the top left corner. He'd love to be able to bring that red into play. 30 seconds.
Well, he's got it out into the open.
And he's brought the white ball back nicely. This has put a little bit of a nail in Carl Morris's next attacking shot.
Well, he's not got the snooker, as you can see. Chris Melling now looking to see if he can bang this red in length of the table. He's just checking to see if he can stop the white dead. He's got enough gap there to get past the yellow to the red over the bag. I think he can. Great shot from Chris Melling.
What a tremendous pot that was. Another look at it, cueing right from the jaws of the pocket. How sweet is that?
That's just a sweet one. Great contact there as well on the ball. He's got a nice black into the centre pocket for a 2-0 lead.
Down it goes, and 2-0 it is. Chris Melling looking full value right now. It's a best of 19 semifinal. He's up 2-0 over Carl Morris. But what about these last two pots? This one right into the heart of the pocket, drawing the white back to leave a path through to the red over the other corner. And not so much the pot, but the position to the black. Great effort from Melling. What sort of response now can we expect from Carl Morris here, Mikey?
Well, the way I've looked at Chris through the tournament, going 2-0 up, if he wins a third, it could be a runaway victory for Chris, but Carl seems to be a fighter, being a previous world champion.
Yes, I mentioned that. He actually won that event 2 years ago, 1998. And he does always seem to find himself at the business end of this tournament in particular.
I seem to remember when he won the world final in 98, he played Keith Brewer in the final and he was 3-0 downwards, Carl. And he came back and won that quite convincingly. So being behind early doors is not unfamiliar territory.
Third frame. Carl Morris to break.
Carl's having a look at the pack.
Trailing 2 frames to 0.
Well, he doesn't want to fall too far behind young Chris Melling. Chris is the sort of player that can run away and hide on you in a hurry. Oh, that's a great break.
Come on, Carl. Yellow ball spotted.
Yellows look good, but I don't think he can get onto one.
That's a tremendous
Left
split
leg
there
of
from
it.
Chris Melling. So 2 yellows sat right over the centre pocket.
Yes, Chris in his seat. Probably won't mind that split too much, Tony, because it is a little awkward. Little work to do. The 2 yellows are there,
Yellow
but
balls
there
in
is
play.
one problem area at the bottom of the table that
Which
Chris
num-
probably feels there. You can see the red and the yellow. And the 2 yellows over on the right-hand side that
That's a great
Carl
shot
Morris
from Carl.
is getting in behind. Super shot there from
Red
Carl
balls in
Morris.
play.
See, Carl nominated yellows, opted for the safety. Just containing Chris Melling. Left him nothing easy. He'd be hoping next time he can get to those 2 over the centre pocket. Chris let fly and had to go at the double. Missed it by a fair way. One thing about Chris Melling, when he does play a bad shot, always carries on smiling. You don't see him get upset or bang his cue around. Or
Got a
or
great
anything.
attitude,
Yeah.
doesn't he? Super attitude for this game.
Well, that's opened things up now for Carl. He's got a great chance to pull frame back.
Needed the thin contact on the one he potted to open up that difficult yellow. That accomplished now everything available for Carl. Oh, he's still got to maneuver that cue ball around. And we've seen examples of how important cue ball control is, most notably in our first semifinal. There were so many instances where Quentin Hahn did all the work and failed at the last hurdle where he lost control of the white.
I think Carl tried to get over to the 2 bad yellows there. I think he's a little bit short. He's on them this time, Mikey.
It seems to have been a perfect lie for him now. He's got an opportunity to putt it and run through. For the yellow closest to the black.
Just got to be careful of the contact he makes into the second yellow here, because he's obviously going to try and pot this in the bottom right-hand corner. He just wants to pull the white back. But as you can see, what he's looking at is to see how far these two balls are apart. Ideally, he doesn't want too much contact on the second yellow.
Seconds.
And I'll try to run through. Actually played a bit of a cannon shot. It's turned out quite nice for him.
Avoiding the black to leave it to the same pocket, and this for Carl Morris to take his first frame of the semifinal. And there it is, confirmation by virtue of the yellow to black clearance. Carl Morris takes his first frame and now trails Chris Melling 2-1. It's all starting to heat up down here, David.
Yeah, it's been a pretty turgid start, in all honesty, to this second semi-final. Chris Melling, marginally the more positive of the two players. Quinton, what do you make of it so far?
Well, I think Carl had two good opportunities in the first two frames, and he's lost both of those. And the third frame he just won, he took quite a few chances before he got over the line. So I think Chris Melling's looking good.
Yeah, Chris, I suspect, is feeling fairly happy. He seems relaxed and smiling. I think he feels he's got what it takes to beat this guy.
Yeah, I think he's a happy character.
Yeah, and Carl, at the moment, we've said this before, his game is not right. We're seeing evidence here. He's still not happy.
Yeah,
things are not going well for him.
He's made a lot of mistakes already, and he needed a few opportunities to take that frame, so he's going to have to improve.
Fourth frame. Chris Melling to break, leading 2 frames to 1.
Chris Melling at the table, breaking off here. Very successful at his first break, and not so this time. It can all turn around on you so quickly. Another look at it, that cue ball straight back into the corner pocket.
Red ball's in play.
Big chance here for Carl Morris now to try and level it up here. He's only got the one visit, though, off the break. But important to get that red open. He's done that. And now...
Well, he doesn't look pleased with it.
Well, assuming he could see that red nearest the bottom right corner, but he may not be able to.
Yeah, you drive the bus through there, Jim.
I don't know what he was shaking his head for.
I think he's worried about the black ball. He's left the red closest to the yellow for the black ball.
Well, the red passes, but whether or not the 8-ball passes the yellow into that pocket remains to be seen.
Wonder if he's looking at maybe potting this red, stopping the white. See where he wants to stop the white. He wants to cut the red across the bottom cushion into the right-hand corner, bring the cue ball up and kiss the black towards the centre, and also landing on his last ball. So now he wants to try and cannon into the 8-ball here and pushing up the table a little bit. That's a great shot there from Carlisle.
Yes, by developing the 8 now, he's made his work that much easier. He overcooked that one a bit. Thin clip into the right center, or try and roll it into the top right pocket.
It's going in the center.
Good shot that from Morris. Back now on level pegging, 2 frames apiece with Chris Melling. Well, this was a beautiful shot. Negotiated not only the pot, but the cannon into the black. Once he got the black into the open, it was just his choice of pocket. But that was all manufactured by a poor breakoff from Chris Melling. So at 2-2, Melling, knowing now he's been pegged back, and knowing also that Carl Morris will be breaking off here in frame 5.
As we go by through the World Championship years, it just shows you how important the break is.
Fifth frame, Carl Morris to break, 2 frames all.
Carl Morris seems to be a little bit more at ease at the moment.
Well, he's got to be feeling better than Chris Melling right now. He's just won the last 2 frames.
Open table.
Fair bit of support here for Chris Melling. Did you see Carl's break? The cue ball jumped in the air, landed on the cushion and came back again.
Making a choice here, reds or yellows. Looks like reds.
Red ball's in play.
Well, there doesn't look to be any problem areas here as Chris continues. Nicely in the open, all his colors.
Way in the quarter-final, that Chris in the quarter-final, his running finishes in like this at 100 mile an hour. You just wonder if maybe Carl going straight back to 2 apiece with him. I'll just give him something to think about.
I don't think there's any question. Nice steady pot here. Never looked out.
That's landed a little tricky for him now to get onto the black.
Yeah, he's caught really between a devil and a deep blue sea. Could have done with being either 4 or 5 inches one way or the other. Lovely shot from Chris Melling.
Well, Carl Morris won a frame off Melling's break, and Chris Melling quick to oblige in return. He goes back in front 3-2 in this race to 10. Carl Morris looking very comfortable, as does Chris Melling. Both players seeming very relaxed. And here's the break off from Carl Morris, nothing down. And that sealed his fate in the end. This was a very nice positional shot from Chris Melling to put the lid on frame 5.
To break, leading 3 frames to 2.
3-2 in front. Chris Melling winding it up. And very noticeable that he moved the cue ball from where he was breaking originally. He wasn't over at the side there.
Red ball spotted. Red ball's in play.
Red off the break. Glorious chance here, Mikey. There's no reason he shouldn't complete the clearance here and go 2 frames clear again.
Yeah, this should be the shot that he needs. If he gets this one, it should all be over. He's opted for the middle.
Well, I would say that was a strange shot selection there from Chris Melling. And as you can see, he actually played to be on the red. Just on the right hand side adjacent to yellow, and you can see he just brought the cue ball back and he's blocked his path through there. Let's come back to have another look, and you can see there he still can't get through from where he is now.
Such a confident putter. He doesn't really mind where the white ball lands.
He's got to shoot the difficult red here because he can't get off it. The one he's straight into the left.
And if he wants to play it length of the table at the rail and then play a double.
Left himself an awful lot to do.
Seconds.
And they missed that by a long way.
Yellow ball's in play.
Overcut it. Here we see it again. Too fine a clip on the red. It's only just made the jaw.
All about cue ball control. As soon as he went out of position, everything started to become dismantled for him.
You see Cole Morris there shaking his head. He's probably feels a little bit annoyed that Chris has made a bad miss and not really left him much. But so okay, if there's enough stuck out of this yellow, probably put it into the centre. Should he make it pot? The yellows are quite easy, Jim.
Well, he played that, what appeared to be a lot of left-hand side as he looked, to try and straighten the cue ball out and pocket that yellow. Smooth sailing for Morris here now. All 3 yellows easily attainable, and the 8 begging over the bottom corner pocket. Well, we've played 6 frames here in Blackpool in the 2000 Embassy World 8-Ball Championship, and nothing has been decided in this second semifinal. 3 each between Chris Melling and Carl Morris. And this long, difficult red attempted from Chris Melling. Tall order at best.
As you see, they play with a lot of left-hand side, just to swing the cube around a fraction, just to make the pop a little easier.
Seventh frame, Carl Morris to break. 3 frames all.
Carl Morris just getting ready to tee it off here. Frame number 7 of a possible 19. Yellows look perfect.
Yellow ball's nominated.
Red in the top corner, affording Carl the choice of colors.
Yellow ball's in play.
You never get a better opportunity to see a lead in a match. In this instance, he's never been in front in this one.
Well, these are plain sailing now for Carl Morris. She's got the 3 yellows and a black.
Carl Morris lists as his biggest disappointment to this stage in his career, losing 10-9 in the semifinals last year. He dearly loved to get to his second final. Eight ball into the center pocket. And the 8 just nestles its way into the side pocket. Morris, by his reaction, you'd think he missed it. He's 4-3 in front, his first lead of the match. And all laid by a good break-off. The brickwork for the foundation to win the frame.
You see, he's not happy at all, Carl Morris, because the way he played that black, then it hit the knuckle and it still dropped in. But he's just disappointed because he's not been accurate enough for his own high standards.
Well, I think he was up off the... I think he thought he missed it, Tony. I'm quite sure by his reaction, he thought that that black was going to stay on the table. Chris Melling breaking off. And nothing down.
Open table.
It's all turning around here on Melling. He won the first 2 to lead 2-0. And Carl Morris has won 4 of the last 5. The former world champion eyeing it up, just deciding which color that he wants to attack. Yellows look slight favorite, but he's opting for the reds.
Would you took reds there, Mikey, in that situation?
Red ball's in.
I don't think I would have.
I think yellow was definitely the choice there, but
He's landed pretty good, isn't he?
shows you when you're at the table, you definitely view things a different way.
It's like watching a chess game from the outside, Mikey. You always see the moves.
I don't think I've ever lost a game watching a game from the side. But if he goes out here, that's definitely going to put a bit of pressure on Chris. And Carl seems to be moving through his gears quite comfortably.
He seems to be feeling more and more comfortable as the match progresses. Chris Melling. He still looks comfortable, though, doesn't he? Looks like a very difficult man to phase. The problem red is the one just between the two yellows, bottom left. Unless that red passes into the bottom right corner, there it looks like it might have half a pocket.
Yeah, be able to just run that in off the jaw, I think, Jim.
Well, he's got a chance to lay on it right here. Well, actually, he doesn't, Tony. I thought he had an angle the other way on the red to the left center. So
Well,
let's scratch that theory.
Well, you could put the red next to the black and just attain that angle anyway.
That's exactly what he's going to do.
Now he has the angle, Jim. Well, I'm not sure he really needed to bother kicking it out. The thing with Carl, he does take a lot of chances, you know, when there's no real need.
Well, they call him Houdini for one of the reasons. He throws caution to the wind and always seems to come out smelling like a rose. At least that's what I've been told by some of his competitors. This could be around the world. No. Just leaving himself the long 8. He's running on all cylinders right now. The 1998 world champion has just won 5 of the last 6 and leads young Chris Melling 5 frames to 3 in this race to 10. Good shot there, and didn't worry about trying to get too close to that 8. Well, a lot of people that were touting Chris Melling in this one probably wondering right now if they couldn't have a second pick.
He's going to have to raise his game and get himself into this match. He's going to have to sort his break out as well. It's not going Chris's way at the moment.
Ninth frame, Carl Morris to break, leading 5 frames to 3.
Our second semi-final sees Carl Morris breaking off 5-3 in front. And this might be the chance that Chris Melling was waiting for.
Yeah, I feel he needs to get this frame on the board, really, Chris, because he's spent quite a while in his chair.
Time running.
There you see the red coming up and kicking the cue ball in to the top corner pocket. You see his reaction. Not very happy at all.
ball's in play.
Straight yellow. Going to have to try and pull back out for his choice of yellows following this.
He's played a good shot there, just nudged the 8-ball out into the open. So he played a shot.
Timeout.
As you can see, just before then, the 8-ball wouldn't pass into any pocket. He's been in his position before as Chris, where he's, he's worked hard for most of the finishing end, sort of blown it towards the end, Mikey.
Always seems to struggle in the first 3 shots so far in this match. But I think this is the one that he's going to really have to hold himself. If he goes another one down, it'll be a little bit of a mountain to climb.
Just going to get the cue ball up into the top half of the table now for the 2 yellows near the middle pocket. He looks like he's under hit it. Just made it. For a split second there, you see him pot this yellow. I thought he was a little bit short.
I don't know if the black goes in the pocket, the top pocket or the middle pocket on the right-hand side.
I think it'll go bottom right. That's where he's looking now.
Yeah.
Just wants to leave himself fairly straight on the last yellow, just be able to draw back a little bit. That's what he'll be doing.
This is a key shot now. Just wants to bring the cue ball up. Just up the cushion just before the middle bag. Himself a straight black in the corner.
Geez, he didn't cue that one very well. That cue went way off to the side. Watch this. As soon as he hit it, you're not used to seeing that action from Chris Melling. That's nerves.
I think he's cutting this one back in the bottom left. He's missed it. And he missed that by a long way.
Well, I can tell you, this boy cues very sweetly. And the sort of action on this yellow is not characteristic of the way he gets through the white. That was a little snatch in the back arm. Well, what a chance here for Carl Morris. 5-3 in front already. A 6-3 lead would be commanding. I think Chris Melling there just told you all you needed to know. And these frames before your intervals, always a little bit bigger because they help you enjoy. You're taking that momentum into the interval, looking to bring it back as you continue. And also, the player that loses the frame before the interval has to think about it for an extra few minutes. That can sometimes put a player off.
He's played a bit of a loose shot there. I think the problem with these reds is they've been too easy for him. You see him pull the cue ball over. He's not happy with that position at all. But again, that's a rash shot. There's just no need to bring the cue ball back. What do you think, Jim? Why couldn't he just roll that in? You could have rolled it in, or you could have screwed back 2 inches and played the long red.
Either way, right now, I don't think he can believe what he's doing to this. This was a tailor-made finish. Now he's got to pull out a real good red.
He's missed it.
And he was up off the cue very early as he left room for the 8.
I think he has. If he has, it's a pretty poor shot from Carl.
Look how quick he was off the cue there. Both players taking their turns here, showing a bit of nerves. I think this might go in off the near knuckle.
So do I, Jim.
And so do I.
Oh, that's unbelievable. As you see, they just caught the red just before the jaw.
Well, Carl Morris will gratefully accept that gift. He goes into the interval 6-3 in front and in a very strong position indeed to progress through to the final.
So after a fairly slow start, the tempo has thankfully started to pick up now. The players leaving the auditorium to take the mid-session break. Still an awful lot, of course, to play for. Remember, a place in the final. And that'll be very interesting to see who faces Jason Twist. Come back in a couple of minutes for what we hope will be a very enthralling second session. Welcome back then to the second session of this second semi-final coming to you from Blackpool. And at the moment, the hotly fancied Chris Melling is struggling. He's up against Carl Morris, who has the lead at the interval. Quinton Hand, the former champion, who lost, of course, in that first semi-final, is with me. This is like the first match, the match in which we saw you go out. It's going against the favourite.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people have been talking during the tournament that Chris Melling's in form and he was going to win this match easy. And that can put a lot of pressure on a player. So maybe if he settles down, he might be able to play his true game.
It's not been the greatest of matches so far, been a bit disappointing. Do you think the tension's got to these two players because there's such a lot at stake?
Yeah, well, if there's anyone who should be able to handle tension, it would be Carl, because he's won it before and he's been to the semis a few times. So he should be able to settle down and he's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, I mean, Carl, we said before this match got underway, not playing at his best. And yet, like in the semi, not playing well, but he did enough to, in the quarters, not playing well, did enough to win. He's doing it again here.
Yeah, well, 6-3 lead it's a good lead in the interval.
Okay, right. Thank you very much, Lee Quinton. More from him a little later. Right now, then, back to the action and Jim White once again.
Thanks, David. And yeah, you would think that Carl Morris certainly would be a little bit more relaxed given his experience out there, but you know, the quality hasn't been that high. He seemed to have brought the worst out of Neil Blake in the quarterfinals, and once again, he's bringing the worst out in Chris Melling.
I'll tell you what, Jim, that's more like his real break.
Red ball's
Darren Appleton had a word with him in the interval and said, in such a words where he said, yeah, you're breaking like a baby.
Yellow ball's nominated.
I think it was evident there that you give him a bit more of a bash.
Yellow ball's in play.
A lot of work to do here, though. The road to the finish line here has a lot of curves in it.
Red ball's in play.
And just securing his position very early on. Mikey, that's probably the order of the day, given the way the balls lay.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely just needed to cover the pocket just to make sure with his next shot.
And Carl's going to play the foul here. Right over the back, give the two visits to Chris Melling. That's an easy there for Chris.
This particular shot is really a gambling shot, isn't it? When you decide to do that, you're betting your opposition can't get out with the two visits.
Chris going for the long cut up the table and try and kick into the yellow, red, black. Tremendous shot from Chris Melling. That's more like the form that he showed in his quarter-final.
Well, I think if Chris is to have any chance here, he's got to start letting that back arm go. Get that cue through the white. Put his best foot forward. And he is an aggressive player. Doesn't like getting bogged down. I think that's one of the reasons that his form seems to have deserted him. I think Carl Morris has him playing his game.
Well, that was a strange shot for me. I thought Chris might have just took the yellow into the centre pocket and landed on that yellow that he's just kicked out and played it up the rail. So he's wasted one of his visits.
It'll be important, though. Position is everything here.
Well, I should think you should play for the ball on the rail this shot. Then take the yellow in the centre of the table. That's what he's done. Could have done with going through a bit further. Got to play this very, very slow down the rail. Failing that is twice across the table. Looks pretty good.
Beautiful shot there. And look at the control of the cue ball. Kill the pace with slow bottom. And now every chance.
Great shot from Chris Melling. Lovely use of side there. Perfect onto the black ball.
And Chris Melling starts the second session here with a big victory. Closing the gap, 6-4 now. He trails Carl Morris. But how big that frame was after the interval. Nice yellow here. And even more impressive, the control of the white. Around the angles with side and to land nicely back onto the 8.
That'll boost his confidence a little, huh?
Certainly won't do it any harm. Carl Morris will be breaking off here now in the 11th frame. 6-4. It's a best of 19, remember? The winner through to the finals where they will meet Jason Twist, who's already there waiting by virtue of a 10-7 victory over Quentin Hahn.
Red ball spotted.
You see Carl Morris break here. Makes the red ball. In fact, correction, he makes 2 red balls. Well, I think reds are going to be the order of the day. They're not particularly easy.
Yellow ball's nominated. 30 seconds.
Well, there you are. He's taking the yellows. Surprising, really. Got a
Yellow
problem
ball's in
ball,
play.
which the cue ball sat next to now.
Yes, with the red over that bottom right corner, Tony, I have to think that reds might have been the easier selection given that.
Well, he had a couple of rail shots to play, but they weren't really, really, really difficult. He didn't have to kick anything out. No, right, Mikey?
Sorry, Tony, but it looks like he's looking at the angle of kicking the yellow off the cushion of the red. He's going to be attacking it right away.
I think he might be playing to just roll this in. Drop the cue ball into the red that's near the cushion, and so he's got the yellow into the centre.
Well, this is the shot that will determine the frame, I think.
Nice, good shot from Carl Morris.
This is a little bit more what we're accustomed to seeing from these two cue artists. They've had to play some great pool en route to this semifinal clash. Manufacturing wins. And that's just what Melling did in the last frame, and Morris looks like doing here.
Carl always seems to rise to the occasion when it comes to a situation like this.
A key shot coming up.
Well, we just want to screw the cue ball down to the sort of right-hand central position of the table. Leave an easy black.
Well, this is where it's going to be a little awkward because the way Carl bridges, where he doesn't loop his hand over, he was bridging right on the middle knuckle there, so now a little bit more awkward. There you can see he overhit that. It was a little different bridge. what he would have liked to have used. He had no choice, really. He still would have to expect to get this 8 though from here.
Yeah, I can't see any problems here for Cole. Cue-ball's not going anywhere.
She can, though. It can't be easy enough for her. Eight down, and Morris reestablishing that 3-frame lead, much to his girlfriend's delight. 7-4 in front, wanting just 3 more for a place in the final. And this was the shot that opened the door, cleared the pocket, and took away a difficult yellow.
Chris Melling to break, trailing 7 frames to 4.
Chris Melling breaking off successfully. Frame number 12.
Well, reds look nice, but it's all depends on the one at the top of the table. Does it pass the
Red
yellow?
ball's in play.
Yeah, I think he's got half a pocket there. He could just creep it in. Not bad for Chris. He's going to have to take the red ball next to the black, I think, next. He's got to be careful where he's pushing the black.
And Mikey, the frames for him now are becoming very important. Trailing 7-4, he's got to stay very close now to have any chance to progress through.
Every visit is important to Chris now. I think he's just snookered himself on the one vital red. It's made it a little difficult for himself now.
I don't think he's got a pot, you know. He's going to try and play the red off the cushion, off the yellow at the top left-hand side. Well, he's not played that well. They're clapping the same shot, Chris. It's not. Carl can easily play the yellow ball off the cushion and in behind the red. Again, I thought he'd have played that with a lot more pace. Gone for the pot. He's tried to cover the back then. He's, as you can see, there's plenty of room there to kick the red out and pot the yellow. As you've seen before, Carl's very good at these shots.
By removing it right away, his intentions were very clear. Now he's giving Chris Melling.
I think he's played this just a bit too hard, Jim. A lot of force he played into that shot.
Definitely giving Chris another chance at this now. He's got to take advantage to stay in the race now. If he goes another one behind, I think it's all over. He's got to take advantage now.
Again, he's played another loose shot. Played it any harder, he was in off and giving away 2 visits.
Definitely putting himself under a little bit of pressure. He's got to go for another big shot.
Come on, Carl. Come on.
He just doesn't seem to be doing the business, certainly not like he did against Terry Hunt in his quarterfinal match. There's too many chances thrown away, and eventually Carl Morris is going to plant you in your chair. And he's certainly not going to throw him the key to get the handcuffs off either.
30 seconds.
piece of fortune there for Carl Morris. See, he's missed the pot. Hit the 2 jaws of yellow, it's gone in the other corner.
Possibility of this in off the red into the middle. Looks like it would be difficult to miss.
30 seconds.
He's playing for the safety.
Well, I can't believe that he had the yellow below the black that would have passed. Everything in the open.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised he didn't go for the finish there.
Total snooker.
It's just a bit negative when there was really no need, Jim. If Chris was to fluke a ball out of the snooker now, he'll be ruining the fact that he played the safety.
Foul. Sorry.
And the referee just made a mistake there. Went to call a foul, forgot he'd already given a total snooker. Now you see Melvin Hurley.
He's just making sure everybody's awake out there.
I'm frozen.
Certainly got Chris's attention.
30 seconds.
Again, he's opted for the safety. Doesn't look too pleased with it either.
Yes, he wanted to try and lay a total snooker on Chris yet again, but he's left him the edge of the red. And with each visit, one thing is happening. Morris's yellows are becoming more and more enticing.
I think he's given Chris an opportunity here to go for a cannon off the yellow. He needs to pull off a trick now.
30 seconds.
Well, you completely misjudged that, Chris. Tried to cannon that off the yellow into the centre pocket. As you can see, too thin a contact on the yellow. And surely this time Carl Morris is going to go for the finish.
Yes, the yellows couldn't be any better placed. On the practice table, you could probably go through the formalities here with one hand.
Yeah, no mistakes from here on. Should be all over. He looks composed and relaxed. Leaving the yellow near the black for his last. Pot on the yellow to finish the game.
And you see, he's left the angle is perfect now. Cole to screw the cue ball over to left hand side of the table. Try and leave himself as straight as possible on his last ball. And the black will be a formality.
No dangers here. He really has this one. Well in his grasp. And this 8 will leave him just 2 shy of his second final in the Embassy World Championships. Down it goes, 8-4. Carl Morris now leads Chris Melling in a commanding position. It just doesn't get any better than this right now for Carl Morris.
Well, he's the man they call Houdini. There must be some sort of magic at work because he's 8-4 up, Carl Morris, and really not playing very well at all. But somehow, rather like his quarterfinal, he's doing more than enough.
Yeah, well, he's given Chris a few chances then. He had a lot of opportunities to make the clearance in that frame, and he's kept playing safe. I can't understand that because you're better off to go for it and do it rather than give your opponent a chance, even if they were only half chances. But Chris had a few small chances in that frame. But
Chris, too, looks very negative compared with how we've seen him earlier in the tournament. He seems to be not very positive at all.
I think it's just the way the balls roll. In a certain match, if the balls go open, it's very easy to clear up. And I think that's the way his last match was.
Yeah.
It was a very open match and the balls went late. This match is a lot more tactical.
Frame 13, Houdini breaking off. And we didn't mention there that there was a very fortuitous fluke, too, in that frame that afforded him the opportunity to continue on when he missed the yellow. Who knows what would have happened had he not fluked that yellow. 8 ball spinning around after a ball left the table.
Good. Red ball's in play.
Certainly none would have expected Carl Morris to progress through to the final here, given his form as of late. He's done nothing in any of the major events, nothing of note. And the way Chris Melling had been playing and the players that Chris Melling had taken out of this event. Terry Hunt in the quarterfinals, and as mentioned, he knocked out two-time champion Rob McKenna, and before that, Darren Appleton. 2 prohibitive favorites in every event.
In contrast, Carl Morris, who played John McMahon from our Irish team in the last 16. And Carl really struggled. John had chance after chance after chance to win. And he played a couple of loose shots. And Carl just scraped through. But he knows he's not playing well as well. Carl knows he's not playing well. He probably can't believe he's still here in the tournament.
I think it's just sheer will for Carl Morris at the moment. He hasn't peaked at all. But as he's going through it, you never know. He might be improving as he goes along. I think this is his best match he's played so far. And that hasn't been up to standard either.
Oh, that's a tremendous pot. Bridging right over the yellow, but his reaction tells us he hasn't liked where the white's finished.
Well, I can't see any problems there, Jim, at all. Don't know why he was looking like that. Do you?
I have no idea. I mean, he frowned. Almost would have thought by his reaction he'd snookered himself. 2 shots away from putting himself on the brink of a terrific win here, and his mother, I hope she's got fingernails left after this is done. Eight down, and Morris motoring through to the final. 9-4 up on Chris Melling, and wants just one more frame to secure that place. And again, this bridge over the yellow, a great red. This was one of the better frames that Carl Morris has played.
Yeah, he had a couple of outstanding shots there, especially the one that we just looked at, the bridge shot. And he made a good out. This is that shot again. Great control there from Carl Morris. He's just one frame away from placing his second ever final, and last time he was there, he went on to win it.
Well, there's a lot of disappointed people that have
14th
made the
frame.
trek down
Chris
from
Melling to
Keighley
break.
here
Trailing 9 frames to 4.
to try and root Chris Melling past Carl Morris.
Come on, Carl.
Open table.
Cheer on their champion, and hasn't been his day. Now, will this be the beginning of the end? He's got a lot of work to do. That one red,
Red ball's in play.
the top end of the table, next to the yellow, may have to be developed.
Come on, Carl.
Well, you can hear the people trying to push Morris.
He's landed ideal now to kiss the other red out.
Come on,
Oh, missed it.
Concentrated too much, I think, Mikey, on the cannon.
Yeah, looks like he concentrated too much on the cannon and he missed the red altogether.
Is it possible Chris Melling can rattle off 6 in a row? With this alternating break format, a tall order indeed.
Great shot there from Chris. But just look where the red's gone. Come down the bottom of the table and stuck quite close to the yellow there, you see it.
And that's the way his form's been right through this match.
He's got the angle on the yellow now, bottom right, to try and open up that difficult one. Very soon he'll be looking for an angle again to get after it. He's going to need it on this last yellow.
He's going to have to play this with a lot of top left-hand side.
That's exactly the same thing he's going to have to do here. Load up the cue ball.
See, the side never really took off the bottom rail there. Now he's in trouble.
Not even close to the red. Needed to get that cue ball into that red. They haven't had a lot to cheer about.
Seconds.
He's very close there, but not close enough. Valiant effort there from Chris Melling to try and save himself. What a great chance now for Carl Morris.
Come on, Carl.
Every now and then you hear that, "Come on, Carl." That's from his dad, Jim, there. Well, here we go. A little behind the back.
He's got to make sure he keeps his foot on the floor. That's going to be the hard bit, doing that shot. Just had his toe there. That's enough. Great shot.
Played that as well as he's hit any. Every chance now. Well, I think she senses it. The crowd as well. Got a nice angle on this red, off the side cushion, down for the black. For the former world champion Carl Morris. In the history of this event, we've only had one player win it on more than one occasion. Carl Morris will be looking to duplicate that feat. A hug from Mom. Great victory for Carl Morris. 10-4 over a very game Chris Melling.
So jubilation amongst the Morris family, and why not? Carl is through to the final. He made pretty hard work of it, but real disappointment there as far as the performance of Chris Melling is concerned. Quinton Han, the former world champion here, what did you make of that? It wasn't the world's greatest semi, was it?
No, I think Chris Melling just had an off day, and Carl's experience just paid off. He's won the world title before. He's got a bit more belief. I think he just hung in there. He just scraped through.
And yet he was not playing, it was not flowing pool by any standards, was it? I mean, you know, he was hesitant, he was slow. Both players were very negative at times.
I think even Carl at his best is not really a flowing sort of player, but
no,
he can play a lot better than that.
And just a word about Chris Melling. I mean, he seemed to be affected, as we said earlier, he's been positive all throughout this tournament up until now, and suddenly it's all fallen apart.
Yeah, I think...
He's got all his fans here. Do you think the pressure was getting to him? He's only young.
Yeah, maybe. I think a lot of commentators buy into the pressure of the situation. Maybe he just had an off day. Maybe, you know, we'll give him a bit of credit and he might come back and win the next tournament.
It does happen. But Carl, I mean, he's got a chance now to recapture the world title. He won it 2 years ago. Hasn't been in the best of form recently, just generally. But you've got to give credit to the guy. Playing badly, he's made it to the final.
Yeah, he has.
Any more than that? How do you think then? Come on, let's have a verdict on Jason against Carl.
My match with Jason, most of the frames that he won, he walked to the table and the balls were quite easy. I got rid of all mine. So if it goes into a tactical game, Jason didn't get any tactical frames against me. So maybe that might give Carl a bit of an edge. But if it goes open, I think Jason's a bit more of a fluent potter. He'll just run away with it, I think.
Quinton, thanks very much indeed. Thanks for joining us for this. We appreciate that. Right now we can hear from our winner. He's with Johnny.
Thanks, David. Yeah, I'm here with the 98 world champion, but it has to be said, Carl Morris will be the first to admit that you're not playing as well as you did when you won that world championship.
I've got to admit, I haven't been playing well all week. And how I've got to the final, I just don't know. I suppose it's down to being consistent and never giving up. Never throwing the queue in when you think if lots of not playing well. Just got to keep grinding away. That's what I've been doing. And got to the final even though I wasn't expecting it.
I'm going to say now we know why you've got that name Houdini, because you just keep going away and you keep escaping if you need to. And even if your game's not good, you're managing to do it. Now, the point I've got now, you're playing Jason Twist, who is playing very well. Can you improve your game well enough to beat Jason Twist?
Well, I think we'll have to wait and see. Jason's been playing well right away through a tournament. But then again, so was Chris before he played me. He didn't play particularly well there. If he'd been playing like he'd been playing all week, then I don't think I would have stood a chance of winning. But to win against Jason in the final, I think I'm going to have to move up the gear a bit. Otherwise, I'm not going to win it.
That's a fair point. Well done again. You're through to the final, which is all that matters. Can he win another world championship? Well, he knows he's got to step up a gear. I think Carl Morris will be off to the practice table now just a little bit if he wants to win this final. Back to you, David.
Jonathan, thanks very much. So there we are. It's not the final people were expecting. It's Jason Twist against Carl Morris. That's the final here at Blackpool in this World 8-Ball Pool Championship. We hope you'll be able to join us for that. In the meantime, from everyone here, it's goodbye for now.